Myself, Akhilesh Kumar Maurya, Associate Professor, Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, Babu Banarsi Das University, Lucknow. This lecture belongs to the module first, that is diodes of basic electronics engineering subject. In this lecture, I am going to discuss about the semiconductor diode. To study the semiconductor diode, we need to study the semiconductor material. Regarding this, we need to study the atomic structure of semiconductor material. So let us start with the structure of an atom. The smallest particle of a matter is an atom, which is made up of three fundamental particles: electron, proton, and neutrons. The proton is positively charged particle, and electron is negatively charged particle, while the neutron is electrically neutral, that is, there is no charge on the neutron. All protons and neutrons are bound together at the center of an atom, which is nucleus. The electrons revolve around the nucleus in different orbits or cells. According to the Bohr's theory, the atoms have planetary type structure. The electrons revolve around the nucleus in different orbits or cells. Each cell contains maximum number of 2n square electrons, where n is the number of cells. The exception is that the last cell contains maximum 8 electrons irrespective of its number. We can see clearly in this diagram. This is the atomic structure of the sodium atom that contains the atomic structure, the atomic number 11. So, according to the rules 2n square, the electrons are distributed among the orbits. Here, first orbit contains 2 electrons, second orbit contains 8 electrons, and remaining 1 electron contained by the third orbit. The electrons in the first orbit are closest to the nucleus and under tremendous force of attractions by the nucleus. The last cell electrons are loosely bound to the nucleus. Such cell is called valence cell, and electrons in this cell are called valence electrons. जो लास्ट सेल का, आउटर मोस्ट सेल का जो इलेक्ट्रॉन्स होता है उसे वैलेंस सेल, वैलेंस इलेक्ट्रॉन्स कहा जाता है, और उस ऑर्बिट को वैलेंस सेल कहा जाता है। जो सबसे लास्ट ऑर्बिट होती है उस ऑर्बिट को वैलेंस सेल और उसके इलेक्ट्रॉन्स को वैलेंस इलेक्ट्रॉन्स कहा जाता है। ईच सेल हैज एनर्जी लेवल एसोसिएटेड with it. The energy level at the first cell is lowest and that of the last cell is highest. Next topic is energy bands. What is the energy bands and how it is created? The energy levels of electrons in each orbit merge into each other to form an energy band. The energy levels of valence electrons merge into each other to form a valence band. When a valence electron absorbs energy, then it becomes free electron. The energy levels of all the free electrons merge into each other to form a covalent bond. An energy band which separates the conduction band and the valence band is called forbidden band or forbidden gap, or called the forbidden energy gap, that is denoted by Eg. You can see in this diagram, this is the graphical representation of energy band. This is called the energy band diagram. Here clearly we see that the forbidden energy gap Eg. Thus we can say The energy difference between energy of conduction band and valence band is called the forbidden energy gap. And here is first band, second band, valence band, conduction band. First band, second band. The first band is nothing, that is the energy levels of the first cell electrons merge into each other, that for the first band. Similarly, the energy levels of the second cell merge into each other and form the second band. And the energy levels and the energy levels of the last cell electrons, that is the valence electrons, merge into each other and form the valence band. What is the forbidden energy gap? The forbidden energy gap, the source, the amount of the energy required to be given to electrons of valence band to transfer them to the conduction band. वैलेंस सेल के इलेक्ट्रॉन्स को कंडक्शन बैंड में ट्रांसफ़र होने के लिए, जंप करने के लिए कितनी एनर्जी की रिक्वायर्ड होती है, जितनी एनर्जी उसे ज़रूरत होती है, जितनी एनर्जी की रिक्वायरमेंट होती है, वो शो होती है फॉरबिडन एनर्जी गैप से. इट मीन्स फॉरबिडन एनर्जी गैप जितनी होगी उतनी ही एनर्जी की, अमाउंट ऑफ एनर्जी की रिक्वायरमेंट होगी वैलेंस सेल के इलेक्ट्रॉन्स को कंडक्शन बैंड में जंप करने के लिए या ट्रांसफ़र होने के लिए. So next topic is classification based on the energy band diagram. Based on energy gap, the materials are classified as conductors, insulators and semiconductors. Here in this diagram, on the basis of the energy band diagram, we see that we can see clearly the conductors. In conductors, large amount of free electrons exist at normal room temperature, so energy gap does not exist. The valence and conduction band are overlapped in the case of the conductor. Copper, aluminum, silver, etc. are the examples of the conductors. And in the case of the insulator, the energy gap is very high, it is about 5 electron volt, or we can say generally is greater than 5 electron volts. Hence, at very high voltage or temperature also, the electrons cannot move from valence to conduction band. Hence, these materials cannot conduct at all and called insulator. Wood, mica, paper, etc. are the examples of the insulator. And next category is the semiconductor. In the semiconductors, at absolute zero temperature, that is at minus 273 degrees centigrade, the conduction band is completely empty and they behave like perfect insulator. The energy gap is about 1 electron volt. At normal temperature, some electrons move from valence to conduction band. Hence, few free electrons are available. Hence, materials can conduct partially. At the room temperature, the energy gap for the silicon is 1.1 electron volt and that for the germanium is 0.67 electron volts. We can see clearly in this diagram of the semiconductor. Now start structure of silicon and germanium. There are two important semiconductor materials, silicon and germanium. These two atoms has 4 electrons in a valence shell. The atomic number of silicon is 14 while that of germanium is 32. The structure of silicon and germanium are here shown in this diagram. In the case of the silicon, the electrons are distributed among the orbits by the rules of 2n square. We can see since the silicon has the atomic number 14, so 2, 8, 4. First orbit contains 2 electrons, second orbit contains 8 electrons, and remaining 4 electrons contained by the third orbit. Similarly, in the atomic structure of the germanium, since germanium has the 32 atomic number, so 32 means 2, 8, 18, 4 according to the 2n square rule. So first orbit contains 2 electrons, second orbit contains 8 electrons, third orbit contains 18 electrons, and fourth orbit contains 4 electrons. So in both germanium and silicon, in outermost cell, that is in valence shell, there are 4 electrons. In valence shell there are 4 electrons. Next topic, concept of electron hole pair. When a valence electron absorbs the energy, it becomes free electron. जब कोई वैलेंस सेल का इलेक्ट्रॉन्स एनर्जी को एब्जॉर्ब करता है तो वह अपने वैलेंस सेल को छोड़कर कंडक्शंस बैंड में चला जाता है और वह कंप्लीटली फ्री इलेक्ट्रॉन्स की तरीके से बिहेव करता है. Thus, a valence electron leaves the valence band and enters the conduction band. When a valence electron drifts from the valence band, then there is a vacancy is created in the valence band. Such vacancy is called a hole. As negative charged electron leaves behind a hole, the hole is treated as positively charged. Thus, when an electron becomes free, a hole gets generated in the valence band. यहाँ पर we can see clearly in this diagram कि वैलेंस सेल का इलेक्ट्रॉन्स एनर्जी को एब्जॉर्ब करने के बाद वह वैलेंस सेल को छोड़ करके कंडक्शंस बैंड में जंप कर जाता है, जिसके कारण वैलेंस बैंड में एक वैकेंसी क्रिएट हो जाती है. इसी वैकेंसी को होल कहा जाता है. We can see here in this diagram there is a hole is created in the valence band. So for one free electrons, one hole is created. So such a generation of electron hole pairs due to temperature is called thermal generation in semiconductor. Our next topic is intrinsic semiconductor. A sample of semiconductor in its purest form is called an intrinsic semiconductor. जब semiconductor materials अपने purest form में होता है तो उसे intrinsic semiconductor material कहा जाता है. And the conductivity of such intrinsic semiconductor is very poor and practically cannot be used for manufacturing of the semiconductor devices. In the outermost cell of intrinsic semiconductor, there are 4 electrons. So such atoms have a crystalline structure in which 4 electrons of one atom share the 4 electrons of an adjacent atom and forming a covalent bond. This is all in this diagram. यहाँ पर हम देख सकते हैं कि सिलिकॉन एटम की आउटर मोस्ट सेल में 4 इलेक्ट्रॉन्स होता है, तो वह अपने 4 एडजेसेंट सिलिकॉन एटम से एक सिलिकॉन एटम अपने 4 एडजेसेंट सिलिकॉन एटम से शेयरिंग करके कोवैलेंट बॉन्ड को कंप्लीट करता है और एक क्रिस्टलाइन स्ट्रक्चर का फॉर्मेशन करता है. देन व्हाट हैपन? Because of this, each silicon atoms are very stable because of completely filled with 8 electrons. So hence the outermost cell of all the atoms are completely filled with 8 electrons and very stable. Thus all these electrons are tightly bound to the nucleus, Hence there are no free electrons and the conductivity of such intrinsic material is very poor. In fact, at the absolute zero temperature, intrinsic semiconductor behaves as the perfect insulator. एब्सोल्यूट जीरो टेम्परेचर पर इंट्रिंसिक सेमीकंडक्टर मटेरियल एक परफेक्ट इंसुलेटर की तरीके से बिहेव करता है एंड द कंसंट्रेशन ऑफ फ्री इलेक्ट्रॉन्स एंड होल्स will always be equal in an intrinsic semiconductor. The concentration of free electrons and holes will always be equal in an intrinsic semiconductor material because this diagram, because previous we see that one free electron is created, then one free electron is created, then for that one hole is created in the valence band. When one free electron is produces in the conduction band, then for that one hole is created in the valence band. So we can say the concentrations of the free electrons and holes are always equal in an intrinsic semiconductor material. So now we start extrinsic material. Pure semiconductor material is known as intrinsic material. Before intrinsic material can be used in the manufacture of a device, impurity atoms must be added to improve its conductivity. The process of adding the atoms is termed as doping. या we can say simply the process of adding the atoms या impurity in an intrinsic semiconductor material is called the doping. The two different types of dopings are possible: donor doping and acceptor doping. Donor doping generates the free electrons in the conduction band and the acceptor doping produces the holes in the material. After doping, the semiconductor material is known as extrinsic semiconductor material. The impurity that is added in the intrinsic semiconductor material is called dopant, and the resulting doped semiconductor material is called the extrinsic semiconductor. So there are two types of the impurities used to obtain the two different types of extrinsic semiconductor called p-type and n-type. The impurity having 5 valence electrons is called pentavalent impurity. When this is added, each atom donates one free electron and such doping is called donor doping. The example of pentavalent impurities are arsenic, bismuth, phosphorus, etc. This creates n-type extrinsic semiconductor. And the impurity which has 3 valence electrons is called trivalent impurity. When this is added, each atom creates one hole which is ready to accept an electron. Hence, this is called acceptor doping. The example of trivalent impurity are gallium, indium, boron, etc. This creates p-type extrinsic semiconductor. Now we discuss the n-type material in brief. The n-type is created by introducing those impurity elements that have 5 valence electrons. That is also called the pentavalent impurities, such as phosphorus, arsenic, and antimony. The effect of such impurity elements is indicated in this diagram. Here, in this diagram, we can see that the 4 of 5 valence electrons, that 4 valence electrons from the phosphorus atoms. The 4 of 5 valence electrons from the phosphorus atoms form a covalent bond with 4 adjacent silicon atoms. The 5th electron is in excess and is loosely bound to the phosphorus atom. This 5th electron requires a very little amount to free itself from the phosphorus atom. This energy is so small that at room temperature almost all such electrons becomes free. यहाँ पर इस डायग्राम में आप देख सकते हैं कि फास्फोरस के का 4 वैलेंस इलेक्ट्रॉन्स अपने नाइबरिंग 4 सिलिकॉन आइटम से कोवैलेंट बॉन्ड को कंप्लीट करता है, बट its fifth electrons are very loosely bound to the phosphorus atoms, and after absorb a very small amount of energy, this fifth electrons, ये पांचवा इलेक्ट्रॉन्स अपने वैलेंस सेल को छोड़कर कंडक्शन बैंड में जंप कर जाता है। इस कारण यह एक फ्री इलेक्ट्रॉन की तरीके से बिहेव करता है। सो वी कैन से ये फ्री इलेक्ट्रॉन से जनरेट होता है और यही फ्री इलेक्ट्रॉन कंडक्शंस के लिए रिस्पॉन्सिबल होता है। तो सो वी कैन से कि one phosphorus atoms creates the one free electrons. So in other words, we can say that at the room temperature, each impurity atom donates one electron to the conduction band. This is the reason that pentavalent impurity is also called as donor impurity. The number of free electrons are far greater than the number of holes, and we say that the semiconductor has become n-type. It is clear that in n-type semiconductor, free electrons are majority carriers and holes are in minority carriers. Now, what will be happens when impurity atoms, say phosphorus, leaves its fifth electron in the structure? You know that before doping, the impurity atoms was neutral, but after doping, this impurity atom, say phosphorus, it leaves fifth electron and phosphorus atom gets +1 excess charge. It means we get positively charged immobile ions, Thus, when n-type semiconductor is formed by adding the pentavalent impurities, we get number of free electrons and immobile positive ion in equal amount. Number of free electrons and immobile positive ion in equal amount. So now, next topic is p-type material. The p-type is created by introducing those impurity elements that have 3 valence electrons, that is trivalent impurity, such as boron, gallium and indium. The effect of one of these elements, boron on a base of silicon, is indicated in this diagram. Here in this diagram we can see the boron atom has only 3 valence electrons. So these 3 valence electrons form covalent bond with the 3 adjacent silicon atoms. Fourth adjacent silicon atom is unable to form a covalent bond. So there is a shortage of 1 electron to form a covalent bond. This creates a vacancy in the fourth covalent bond, which is nothing but a hole. यहाँ पर क्लियरली देख सकते हैं इस डायग्राम में बोरान का 3 वैलेंस इलेक्ट्रॉन्स अपने नाइबरिंग सिलिकॉन 3 सिलिकॉन आइटम से अपने वो कोवैलेंट बॉन्ड को बनाता है, बट चौथा सिलिकॉन आइटम नाइबरिंग सिलिकॉन आइटम कोवैलेंट बॉन्ड को कंप्लीट नहीं कर पाता, जिसके कारण से यहाँ पर एक वाइड या एक वैकेंसी क्रिएट हो जाती है। यही वैकेंसी होल कही जाती है, इसी वैकेंसी को होल कहते हैं। Thus we can say the each phosphorus atom added into silicon atom creates one hole which is ready to accept an electrons. So we can say the each phosphorus atom added into silicon atom creates one hole which is ready to accept an atom. The number of such holes can be controlled by the amount of impurity added to the silicon. As the holes are created as positively charged, the material obtained is called the p-type extrinsic material, a p-type extrinsic semiconductor material. In this case, the number of holes are far greater than the number of free electrons, and we say that the semiconductor has become p-type. It is clear that in p-type semiconductor, free electrons are in minority carriers and holes are in majority carriers, whereas in the n-type semiconductor material, the free electrons are majority carriers and holes are in minority carriers. Thank you.